I think it's always quite scary coming into a new school, especially from primary school. It can be a bit daunting, a bit scary, because you don't know anyone and you don't know what to expect. However, when I came into the school, I was greeted with such friendly faces. All the students were so kind to me, and the teachers really helped me to fit in, both in form and in lessons. So there's really nothing to worry about when coming into this school, because it really helps you to fit in and you really get to know the other students well. I also feel that in my later years in the school, using the website Unifrog really helped me to decide on my career path, because there was a point where I wasn't sure which career path I wanted to take. However, using Unifrog allowed me to go online and look at career paths suitable for the things that I'm passionate about in school. I'm quite passionate about sport, and so that allowed me to look at potential career paths, and I found one in sports management at a particular uni that I really wanted to go to.
With me joining the grammar school, it's helped you along definitely with my personality, and it also changed the way how I think as well. So before I was thinking, I can get away with this, get away with that. However, it's now taught me now to think I can actually, if I put my mind to it, I can actually achieve big things. The teachers have definitely given me a drive to my future career. So I want to do some form of engineering into the future, and also along it's given me a plenty of new skills, so I've made a whole load of new friends.
I also feel that something that has improved is my work ethic. I feel that going through GCSEs can be a challenging process, but I had to put in a lot of work both at home and at school in order to achieve my grades, and I feel like that really drove me and gave me a passion to achieve the goal, and that improved my work ethic massively. I also had to do this through my A-levels, and I also had to work at home and online, and I feel like that had to keep me motivated through that period, and I was able to accept the challenges put upon me, and I was able to continue to work at a high level.
So from a parent's point of view of why your child should be coming to Spalding Grammar, or you should at least consider it, I have seen my son change, I have seen him develop, and I have seen him grow. The manners and personality that this school brings out in the children is fantastic. There's such politeness, there's such caring. It's a very, very supportive environment that also provides your child with an amount of opportunity, whatever they choose to do, be it an academic style, be it a hands-on technical style, be it a sporting style. There is a wealth of opportunities within this school for your child.
The main thing for me that really stood out from even year 7 was the confidence that James got from joining the school. He was asked to speak, and he really did engage with that, and it really gave him confidence to speak in front of a large audience, being students and new parents as well. And he's been offered to do that several times throughout his schooling career here at SGS. The other thing as well, which really gave him confidence, was his leadership abilities. You've heard James talk about, and myself, about his sport. He's also very passionate about business. And what he learned throughout his 7 years here was how to become a really good leader. He's taken that forward by representing the school and captaining the school throughout his time here through various different sports. And he's really enjoyed that, and that's really seen James gain confidence to take forward into his career as he leaves the school.
The thing that I think impresses me most about Adam now is he's sort of fully matured into a confident, independent learner. He plans and manages his own time. He doesn't need me to tell him to do anything. He takes feedback, and I think he's just fully ready to go to university.
I'm so pleased we chose Spalding Grammar School for James's secondary education, because it's provided him with a safe and nurturing environment that, as a parent, you can't ask for a lot more than that, really, because that gives your child confidence. It also gives a structure which encourages people to work to their best ability, but also allowing them to experience personal journeys as well. So it's all-encompassing in that area.
I think for me as well, a lot of parents will look at exam results, how the school has fared in the past years. It's always had outstanding results, and for us that's obviously a key part of coming to this school.
I think as well, coming from a small primary school to a large environment such as this, the support there to recognise the fact that you're coming from a place where you know everybody's names to all of a sudden there's this big scary environment in front of you. You've got through that. Yes. As a shy, quiet child to be brought through and nurtured, it shows that, again, the support is here within this school for that transition from the primary school to the secondary school.
And again, one of the things that stands out for me was the opportunities that the students get when it comes to travelling as well. You know, the department's put on loads of different trips throughout the world nowadays as well, where these students can actually get the opportunity to go and see some wonderful things and experience some things that they perhaps have never had the opportunity to do before. So, you know, that was a real standout for me, that James had those opportunities to be able to go and do that.
And for me, I think the reason for choosing SGS is just the relationships that you gain with the students and the teachers. I've made some great friendships at this school, and ones that I'll keep for life. And I also feel that I can always communicate with my teachers, even through leaving school. I can always come back to the school and speak to my teachers because I've developed that personal relationship with them, both through the classroom and outside as well.
Other parents should consider SGS as the school of choice because they have good teachers, good behaviour in classrooms, and the teachers are sort of ambitious for the students but supportive with it.
If your child is happy at school and confident, then that makes you happy and confident as a parent. One of my earliest memories of James's achievements at Spalding Grammar School was really when he was in year 7, the very first start. It was actually his ability to just settle in and enjoy all of the opportunities that the school offered, the new subjects that were on offer, the new sports, the new teachers, and I felt he really settled in well with that.
In year 7, he got a prize at the speech day event, and he decided he wanted to do that every year, and he just worked tirelessly hard to achieve that.
And then to top that, at the end of that first year, he was asked to do a speech to potential students that were thinking about coming to Spalding Grammar School, and I was so proud of him for that.
Throughout my years at the school, the thing I'm most proud of is probably how in year 9 I took up the piano. When I first went to school, I thought that music was pretty much a pointless subject, but when I got into year 9, my teacher made us do a performance of Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day, and I played the piano, and that kind of inspired me to get going. I took lessons, and by the beginning of year 12, I had taken my grade 5 piano, both theory and practical, and I performed on the piano for Remembrance Day and lots of other concerts at the school.
The proudest achievement that I remember is when we had the GCSE results in a couple of subjects that we weren't expecting necessarily great things in, to have realised that he managed to get some really good marks, and the reaction was fantastic.
I think also that when I got my results, I wasn't really expecting how high those results would be, and it was just an overwhelm of relief for me to get those results as well.
We were very lucky that the teachers were capturing it, and there's a photo one of them sent afterwards, just that moment and the reaction. It was a wonderful, wonderful moment. And
James being a keen sportsman, it was a key part of Spalding Grammar School and the PE department. So when James was nominated each year for Sportsman of the Year, we was really proud of that, and in year 11 he actually won the award for Sportsman of the Year. He also was one of 3 students and boys that were put forward for the English Schools Football County Trials, and they all got selected as well to represent Lincolnshire at places like Nottinghamshire and Humberside.
For me personally, the time where I thought I was really proud of myself was when I achieved my grades in GCSE. I worked really hard at home and at school to achieve my grades, and I put a lot of time and effort into that, and I was really proud of myself when I got those results back and they were what I wanted. I also had to work really hard for my A-levels, putting in a lot of work both inside and out of school and communicating with my teachers, and that's allowed me to put myself in a position where I can go to the university that I want to go to.
One of the biggest strengths of the school in terms of academics is that throughout your time at the school, you'll be able to go for different lessons depending on what you want to do and what you're most capable in. So in year 9, I remember that for people who struggled in English, the school gave literacy lessons to help you improve on grammar and punctuation, things like that, whereas people who were more capable in English were able to go on to use that time to do different subjects like Latin and classics. Similar things happened where I did year 8 and 9 French, and then while I was doing GCSEs, I took 2 extra GCSEs and an extra A-level. So the school really pushed me to go further and do all sorts of different things when I was able.
The lessons are structured and they give us homework that we need to complete for the next lesson, and they're always really engaging lessons which we all take part in, and I think that's a real strength that every teacher has that relationship with the students.
The strengths of Spalding Grammar School and the academic rigour really sits around the structure that they put in place for the students. We have regular contact, updates, weekly behavioural charts. We have good contact with the teachers who keep us up to date with how the students are doing, both positive and negative, enabling us to deal with those situations or give praise when required.
The teachers really invest in the students. They get to know them personally, so that really helps them feel more confident. The student understands that the teacher's really invested in helping them to get the best out of their future and their time at Spalding Grammar.
I think the school is strong because they have good, supportive teachers who really know their subjects well, and they do regular testing and assessment, and there's feedback on those tests, so that not only do the students know how well they're doing, the parents know as well. And we identified an issue with Adam's, one of his GCSE subjects, that he wasn't doing quite so well on, and that allowed us to have an intervention and try and improve those grades before it became an issue.
How the school's adapted with regards to online learning, and how it's adapted with getting in communication with both James as a student and us as parents as well. And there's always been an opportunity to feed back still through that way of communication, rather than the face-to-face that sometimes we can't obviously all achieve.
I've faced challenges through the last 7 years at the school, and it's not going to be an experience if you're not going to go over those hurdles. But especially in the last 2 years studying my A-levels, I found the subjects extremely challenging, and that's what you need to have in order to achieve those grades. However, there was a point during my A-levels where my grades started to slip, but the contact that I had with my teachers, who allowed me to improve my grades through communication and talking about where I needed to improve in areas where I was struggling, and that really helped me to boost my grades back up.
We felt that Adam could perhaps do more than the standard set of GCSEs, so the school supported him in taking 2 extras. I mean, we taught 1 at home, but the school rearranged lessons so that he could participate in school trips and working with the other students. And one of the other subjects, his teacher felt strongly that he could do that, so he did most of that just during lunchtimes. But he managed to get a grade 9 in both of those.
Also in year 12, for history coursework, I was able to, most of the students would be asked to do a question from a set of 5 or so, but the teachers felt that I could do whichever question I wanted to, and they were able to buy new books for the school that would help me to do that. So that was very liberating to have the freedom to go and do whatever question I wanted in the coursework.
We're coming from a very small school originally to a very large school, and that transition was quite difficult. We weren't necessarily the most structured with the home life and also coming here. So when we come into an academic body such as the Spalding Grammar School, where we need to have that structure, that initially was very, very difficult.
We were welcome to come into the school and have a chat with your form tutor, because the school encourages you to come and have a talk with the form tutor as initial contact if you've got any concerns, and we did that, and we felt it was a really useful chat, and it was proved to be the right thing, because your grades came up well after that, didn't it?
Yeah.
What we were able to do by working with the teachers, we were very, very lucky that the form tutor at the time was incredibly supportive. What that allowed us to do was give Stefan small targets, ways to work to go forward so we could start to see some progress. And it just brought him back into the structure that the grammar school required to help get the best out of the education experience here.
One of my main issues when joining the school was my focus on my organisation. Sometimes I came into class and I didn't have a pen or the book which I needed to come in. This report card and help from my teachers and my form tutor slowly put me back on track and back to the level which all the other students were doing.
I think there's so many choices for enrichment and extracurricular clubs at lunchtime and after school. Whether you're into sport, whether you're into something else, there's always an opportunity for everyone. I took part in the sports leadership course in year 12, and that involved me coaching younger students and teaching them new sports which they haven't done before. And I really enjoyed that because it allowed me to develop leadership skills and also communicate with younger students in order to deliver a quality session towards them.
I think this helped me the most in year 7 because I was able to find people who enjoyed the same interests that I did. So there were lots of games clubs for things like Dungeons and Dragons and chess and other board games, which I loved when I was in the lower school. As I moved further up the school, there were other enrichment opportunities such as debate club, which helped me to improve on my public speaking skills and my confidence. But I think the number one thing in terms of enrichment that I enjoyed most was the school exchange trip, which has been going on for a very long time. I just saw a picture from the 1950s of students going to the same city that I went to on the German exchange trip. And I met my German exchange student called Anna, who I'm still friends with and still in conversation with over 5 years later.
I think for me, again, Duke of Edinburgh stood out for me in James's schooling years. You know, it was something that I never did when I was at secondary school, but was really pleased to see that it was offered to James. And with several of his friends, they took on the Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Award, had some brilliant fun, some great trips away camping and doing all of the modules that were required to achieve the award. And I was very proud of him when he actually achieved that Bronze Award.
There was a number of trips. The battlefield trip, I think, was done at a great time, the correct age for the children when they could start to relate. Definitely struck home with Stefan. Originally there was a Lego club, and that was good for encouraging his development. There was also the exchange trip, Stefan.
It's the German exchange trip. That helped me, especially with the German language which I was doing, because I wasn't doing very well. But when I came back, the knowledge of the language had increased for me, and the experiences were amazing there.
Adam is quite academic. But I'm pleased that he's managed to do a number of things. He's already talked about games and chess clubs that was done with some of the other primary schools. But he also did like the Duke of Edinburgh. He was doing badminton, which was off-site. And the other thing I think that really helped was his teacher encouraging him to play the piano at music concerts and events.
Also, again, from a sporting background, you know, as I've said earlier, the sports at SGS are second to none, and it opened James up to lots of different sports that he'd never tried before at his primary school. And actually, off the back of that, he's really found a passion in basketball. He's represented the school at that, and he now really wants to take that forward into his university career as well.
I think the form tutors are actually very supportive, and I think they really do care about the students. During Adam's time in sixth form, the head of sixth form has helped with completing applications for things like grants, and she's put significant time into that out of hours, which we really appreciated.
The pastoral support and the engagement has been incredible in my experience. I think as long as you are prepared as a parent to work with the teachers and realise it's all a common goal, that's the important thing. The communication, the time the teachers will give to the children when they need specific focus, outside of lessons as well.
I've always had support through my 7 years at school, through all the teachers, and through the last couple of years has really helped me with my personal skills. He's always asked me if I'm feeling okay, and that's always really important to make sure that the mental health of all of our students are okay. He's also made sure that my career path is sorted and where I want to go, and he's always looked out for me and other students as well.
In my application for Oxford, I had to go through the interview process, and I think the school was particularly helpful in helping me to prepare for the interview. So 2 of my teachers, well, my politics teacher and then the economics teacher, who I haven't been taught by previously, stepped in to help me do a practice interview, which was very rigorous, and probably more rigorous than the actual Oxford interview itself.
Especially coming up towards the exam periods of earlier schools, I had the pastoral support for identifying me with my extra time for my writing exams, and especially the support coming up with especially with my AS level maths. The help there was enough to push me up 1 or 2 grades.
I also found Go for Schools, the website that as a parent or a student you can sign on to. That was really useful because it shows you what subjects your son or daughter are studying at that time. It also shows you what their results are from exams, and if they've had any particular accolades, if their behaviour has been really good or their work has been really good, then that's there as well. Obviously the other side is there, but thankfully you haven't had too many of that, James.
For the career support, I think for me you have the perception of the grammar school being very elitist and very much you're going for the Oxbridge thing. With Stefan, his intention was to have a career with the RAF, and that was a very nice thing to see, the amount of support that the teachers would give towards actually taking an interest. It was something coming out. There may not have been a university application going in afterwards, but they were still very engaged and very open to the fact they'd like to see Stefan succeed in whatever his career happened to be.
Especially from teachers who had siblings or friends with experience in the RAF, and some tips and advice which they gave me, especially with my form tutor helping me out with applications forms, and especially my DT teacher who gave me an insight into what life would actually be like in the RAF, as he had some experience before.
So the school was particularly helpful in helping me to overcome issues that were beyond mine and the school's control. So, for example, on one Monday morning, I had the first of my mock exams, 2 of my interviews for Oxford, and a deadline for my coursework, all happening to be on the same day. But I got in contact with the school and we were able to potentially move one of my exams and postpone the coursework deadline. So the school was very flexible and understanding with issues like that.
The school's been good at developing life skills and identifying certain aspects of where their children can improve in a general rounded way. What I've seen has been Stefan's ability to speak more openly. His shyness has reduced massively. The school recognised his caring attitude to the point where you had a specific prefect role, I believe?
Yes. We were enrolled in a course which was a young mentoring course to mentor students in the lower years. One of the main things before was my communication skills. I wasn't really a good big speaker back in year 7s to 9. However, with English lessons and building towards my English speaking exam, my communication systems improved, and along with the help after GCSE periods, such as PACE in year 12, my speaking out to large groups and giving presentations increased as well.
I think it's fair to say that without that support, there's no way we'd both be sitting here doing this interview now, being able to say this. This itself is proof of exactly how far Spalding Grammar School has helped Stefan with his communication.
Right, and it's not about rushing it, it's about making it look good.
Another set of ingredients.